They're the best in the world at what they do.
Hi, I'm Mike Dodd.
Hi, I'm Karch Kirai.
Hi, I'm Adam Johnson.
I'm Ken Stevis, and coming up is the Evian Indoor Beach Volleyball Championships.
Bringing the beach indoors, we preview and review the 1995 Evian AVP Indoor Beach Volleyball season next. Hi everybody, I'm Mike Crispino, and welcome to our look at the 1995 Evian Indoor Pro Beach Volleyball season thus far. About 20 players have been traveling the country. They are vying for up to $250,000 in prize money. They have earned points at preliminary sites like Boston, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., and in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The top players will be at Madison Square Garden this weekend. Karch Kirai, Randy Stoklos, Adam Johnson, Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh, among others. Now, in the next hour and a half, my play-by-play partner, Kirk Kilgore, and I will be profiling some of these players. We'll be educating you about this sport, and we'll be showing you the highlights of those first 3 matches. So stick around. Coming up, the first match in the series when we return. We'll start at the Patriot Center on the campus of George Mason University, just outside of Washington, D.C. Then head to Boston and the Boston Garden for Week 2 action. Then it's a trip to Minneapolis and the Target Center. The best beach volleyball players in the world are on their way to Madison Square Garden in New York City. The Evian Indoor AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Championships are being brought to you by Evian Natural Spring Water. Evian Natural Spring Water, another day, another chance to feel healthy. And by Perry Ellis Menswear. And Miller Lite Ice. The night is young. The first stop for this Evian Indoor Pro Beach Volleyball Series came at George Mason University, just outside Washington, D.C. It was at the Patriot Center. Now, if you've never been to one of these events, it really is incredible. The organizers will put down 240 tons of sand on the floor. Then they'll turn the temperature up to 80 degrees in the building. So next weekend, when they have the finals here at the Garden, I won't be needing that. Now, that weekend at George Mason, there was a blizzard in the D.C. area. People braved it, thousands of them, in fact, to watch the first tournament in the series. Cold temperatures and 8 inches of snow are usually enough to keep most people away. But inside, fans were quick to forget about the lousy conditions outdoors. The first matches of the year provided few upsets as the team of Karch Kirai and Kent Steffes, the #1 team in the world, moved on to the semis to face the Brazilian combo of Eduardo Basile and Jose Loyola. Also, Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos advanced to the semis to take on Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, the #2 seeds. What's this series all about? And what's the deal with indoor beach volleyball? Here are some answers.
The Evian Indoor Series is a single-day format with 8 teams playing single elimination. So there's basically 7 matches per day, quarterfinals, 2 semifinals, and then a final. We're playing a 9-minute clock, and it's a full day of volleyball. We start about midday and get to the finals in the early evening.
See well-rested teams and high-energy volleyball. There's no hot sun to deal with. You don't have to play all day for 2 straight days.
We turn up the heat to 80 degrees. We have all types of people coming in here, and the people really enjoy volleyball.
What's emphasized here is the athletic skills of these players.
We're in the middle of a blizzard in Washington, D.C.
They can get out of the snow and come on in and get a little piece of the beach.
I just talked to somebody who drove 15 hours to get here through all the snow and gale force winds, so it's neat to see people out.
from an athletic perspective, these guys are as good at what they do as any other athlete is in his respective sport, and no better place than Madison Square Garden to show your sport and to really showcase it.
Action from the second semifinal in Washington, and Randy Stoklos serving. He and Adam Johnson lead now 13-8. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore.
That's the way they've done it. The big serve, jump serve by Stoklos, good point scoring.
Stoklos with the serve again. Dodd on the kill, and Stoklos cannot control it.
Boy, Stoklos right in the right spot that time. Stuck his arm out, just could not play the heater.
Side out, now 8 will serve 13. Whitmarsh serving.
Boy, Mike, that's a great play that time by Dodd Whitmarsh. Blocker plays it up, ball has to go over. Dodd goes up, puts it away cross court.
Whitmarsh will keep the serve. 9, serving 13. Johnson, the setup. And a shot that looked like it just went wide.
Oh, it was a nice shot, though. Off-speed shot by Adam Johnson by the block. Goes down just inside the line.
Stoklos serving again. The setup. And a nice touch, but that's going to set up Stoklos for a kill.
Well, that's too easy. Off-speed shot by Mike Whitmarsh. Here it is. Good set. He's up there. He's got to go up and crank this ball. He off-speeds it. Easy play for Stoklos. Nice set by Johnson. And that crunch by Stoklos. Another easy play.
Interesting choice there of shots. Looked like
not a good one.
Not a good one. That's right. Stoklos serving. And the blast. And a beauty that time.
Second attempted game point for Randy Stoklos.
Big jump serve. That's what we see from all the players. Good set by Whitmarsh. Dodd goes up. Big crank cross court. That's what you have to. Pound the ball.
He picked his spot beautifully. Now, Mike Dodd to serve. Drops it short. Adam Johnson. Perfect spot.
With a hubby wide shot right down the middle. No communication for the defense. Adam Johnson, really a great player. Fast arm swing. Right down the middle.
Johnson to serve now. All alone on the court for a moment was Mike Dodd, and he recovers and finds an open spot.
Dodd Whitmarsh with a scramble. They're playing some good defense. Dig that ball up, a little off speed to the corner to get it back.
Side out, now the serve from Whitmarsh and Dodd, and that time, beautiful angle blast.
Randy Stoklos just kabooming the ball cross court. Good set, bang.
14-9, Stoklos to serve. And the shot.
Just long it looked like, and that's a game.
Very close. Johnson and Stoklos will advance. The final score 15-9.
Take a quick look at that last play. Jump serve again. Good power. Good set. He goes up, just pounds it fairly long. Long enough for Stoklos and Johnson to win the game.
Johnson and Stoklos advance to the final, where they'll meet the winner of the next match from Washington. The world's best, Karch Kiraly and Ken Steffes, against Brazil's best, Eduardo Basile and Jose Loyola. One of the semifinals in Washington featuring an interesting matchup. The up-and-coming Brazilian team. That's Eduardo Basile serving Jose Loyola, his teammate. Karch Kiraly, Ken Steffes, the opponents. And this one really surprised some people.
Well, both teams play great defense. They're very steady, big up and hitters. They go up and crank the ball. The Brazilians can always be tough. They serve well. They are very, very strong.
Did you mention youth? Well, it's time to, because Loyola and Basile are 24 and 23 years old. How much of a factor can that be?
Well, I think it's a big factor. They're strong. They're learning every match. They can really be tough, and they're getting more and more confident every time they play Kiraly and Steffes.
Both the Brazilians finished in the top 10 money-wise on last year's tour, so they are coming on strong. And the game in Brazil, I think, will be a factor in the world as time goes on.
Well, it really is. These players start out young on the beach. They play at the beaches of Rio, Ipanema. They get very good experience on the beach, along with Kiraly. Steffes, same thing in California. California against Brazilian Beach Boys.
Yeah, Basile was the beach volleyball champion in Brazil, 1990-91. That's a look at Loyola. This is Steffes and Kiraly defending them. The match began favorably for Steffes and Karai. They led it 8-4, but then the Brazilians came back to tie it up at 10 apiece.
Well, not an easy thing to do either. Karai Steffes very steady, don't give up easy points. Brazilians go up, pound the ball again, cross court. Great flying defensive plays all over the court for both teams. These teams can dig with the best of them.
Tremendous athletes working here, and this time the point goes to the Brazilians. They were able to rally, finally take a lead of 14-12, and as the clock ran out, we had an upset. In Washington, Eduardo Basile and Jose Loyola eliminating Kent Steffes and Karch Karai. As we head to a break on this look back at the Evian indoor beach volleyball season, we ask the players what their favorite indoor activity happens to be.
Favorite indoor activity?
Skills right now.
Sleeping. Sitting home in front of the TV set watching a golf match.
Hanging out with my kids, reading books.
Favorite indoor? I don't think I could say that on camera.
So already the first week into the Evian Indoor Pro Beach Volleyball Championships, things are setting up to become very interesting. The teams are jockeying for position. Now, Karch Karai and Kent Steffes have won the last two indoor titles here at Madison Square Garden, and they're coming off an extremely successful outdoor season as well. But then they were defeated. And that's when the drama started to build for the Washington final. Could the Brazilian duo win their first AVP title? A look at the Washington final, and a surprising final at that. This is Adam Johnson serving with Randy Stoklos. His team has fallen behind 7-1 before scoring there. The Brazilians had opened up a big lead.
Well, now 2-7, a big serve by Adam Johnson. Important for Johnson and Stoklos to serve tough, let Randy Stoklos block some balls at the net.
Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore watching with you, and here is a point that Stoklos and Johnson were able to make to get back in it somewhat.
Loyola cannot run it down. Big play for Johnson and Stoklos.
The Brazilians take a timeout, and we will too. It's an ever-changing world of beach volleyball. We caught up to Adam Johnson to ask him about the tour's advancement.
It's growing leaps and bounds. You've gone from, I believe, $500,000 in a purse, with 10 tournaments in probably the early 80s to now it's over $4 million plus with about 30 events, and it gives everybody around the United States and even sometimes international to get a piece of the action and actually come to the beach and have a great time. It's a little different. It's a unique sport from that standpoint.
Yes, Kirk Kilgore, you must agree that the tour has changed. Mike Dodd, back in '85, won 9 tournaments for all of $31,000.
One year I won 7 and won about $5, so that's good. But now, $1 million, these players are making a lot of money.
And the Brazilians did quite well over the last year or so.
A little over $100,000, and they won no tournaments, so sounds good to me.
They are leading in the final 7-4. Basile serving.
Nice off-speed shot by Randy Stoklos. Over the top of the block. Good pass, good set by Adam Johnson. Puts it up. Stoklos sees it all the way. Nobody back there. Good side out.
Now, did he make that decision on the way up?
Adam Johnson would be talking to him, telling him where the defender is, where the block is, and he can see it also. Big serve by Johnson. Tips the top of the net.
And much to the disappointment, the dismay of the fans of Stoklos and Johnson, apparently. Now serving Loyola.
Ooh, Adam Johnson, big crank cross court. You can hear Randy Stoklos saying angle, and he pounded it.
A net violation, it doesn't really matter. It was a point anyway. While Jose makes his point, we will step away for a moment. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore, the finals in Washington. The Brazilians to the left side of the net. Basile and Loyola. Stoklos and Johnson able to pick up a point. It is now 10-6. They trail.
Started out with a good serve by Randy Stoklos. Goes down the line. Basile goes up. Little off-speed shot picked up by Randy Stoklos. Good set by Adam Johnson. Stoklos goes up and pounds the ball across court. Big hit. They need to get some motion. Good serving by Stoklos.
Stoklos serving now, down 10-6 to Basile, who received it, and wide, way wide, and out of bounds.
Well, you get a point off of a player, you go right back to him. They go back to Basile, pays dividends. Stoklos again serving.
Stoklos serve, hit the net, and it'll be side out. Breaking the momentum there.
Well, Brazilians playing very well early, playing good defense. They have to keep that going. Good serving. They'll start here with Basile.
Eduardo Basile, 6 foot.
Ace serve that time for Basile. That's what they've done well. Good serving team, the young Brazilians. Good big ace that time.
A nice dig in the setup here. Johnson is blocked beautifully that time by Loyola. 12-7 now, the Brazilians with the lead.
Jose Loyola, he's the blocking of the two players. He gets up and blocks at the net. Big, strong, 6'4", jumps high. Good block that time for the point.
23-year-old Eduardo Basile. And nicely placed beautifully by Johnson.
A little off-speed tip down the line. Gets stuffed. He goes to the off-speed. Adam Johnson to serve.
Johnson and Stoklos trailing 12-7. Need to get back in it quickly. And a beautiful shot by Johnson, and it's 12-8. Stoklos and Johnson trailing. Let's talk about them. They've won 3 AVP outdoor events in '94, and we asked Randy about the teamwork between these two talented players.
I think that Adam is probably the best server on the tour today. I think that our mixture, as far as me being a blocker and him being a defensive player, will score a lot of points. I'm doing something that I've never done in my life. I'm splitting off that duty for the first time in my life. I'm having Adam block and me play some defense. So it is a little bit different for me. Remember, 14 years not playing defense, not playing behind a block, not transitioning to score points. You know, I did it during the weekdays with other partners by practicing, but I never did it in a high-level game, which we're playing together right now on the tour.
It's getting very late. Would you not agree, Kirk Kilgore? 13-8. Stoklos and Johnson are trailing here.
Well, it's time, and that's not the way to do it. Stoklos and Johnson have to start blocking. But really, the Brazilians have not shown a propensity to give up easy points. They've played very steady, good defense, and great serving. That's what does it for them.
Basile serving. Stoklos missing wide right. It's now 14-8. The Brazilians 1 point away.
Well, a big pound for Randy Stoklos. Good pass, good set by Johnson. Goes up, sees the block all the way. He just misses the shot.
So Basile will serve for the championship.
Well, this would be a big upset, I think, early in the year. Johnson Stoklos certainly the favorite in this match.
Not that time, however, as it'll be side out. Nice play by Randy Stoklos.
Misses the big pound, goes to the off-speed cross court. Adam Johnson must serve tough here.
Here's Johnson's serve and the setup. Basile.
Side out.
And it's side out.
Off the block, out of bounds. He saw Randy Stoklos right in front of him. Hit him. Loyola wants the crowd. Brazilians love that crowd. Their own crowds yell and scream, wave flags around. See if he gets his big jumper in.
The 24-year-old from Copacabana serving to win. But he got caught in the middle of the court, and Johnson took advantage of it.
Well, caught no man's land. You start backing up off the net, can't play the ball.
Stoklos serving now.
Net on the block that time. Good play for Stoklos and Johnson. Ball came over early, hit on 2 that time by Stokey. Nice play.
At 14-9, Stoklos will serve to stay alive.
Big cross-court hit. Sorry, Mike. Nice play. Goes up. You get excited when you see those big pounds all the time.
He
Great
picked the
play.
right spot, didn't he? That was beautiful. Basile serving now to try to win it again. Kept it alive beautifully. And Loyola and Basile, their first title on the beach.
What a great one-handed dig to get that up. Big play. They started out, jumped out to a big lead, and made it pay. Loyola, these Brazilians are an exciting team. Jump serve. Good pass. Good set. Johnson goes up and cranks the ball across court.
And here's the Evian spike of the game. What a dig by Basile. One arm off balance on the sand, just gorgeous. And that helped the Brazilians seal a 15-9 victory and an upset of Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos.
How did you prepare to win this championship today?
Oh, has been a long time. We played 2 years in AVP, and we always try to win a tournament, to have a big, always close, but never. But the first year came, and we were very happy.
Well, you've got $15,000 and 1 AVP title to your name. Can we expect something like this again next week?
Definitely. We're going hard. We're going to practice hard to try to win all the tournaments.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Well, before you win them all, you've got to win the first, and that was it. The first ever victory for the Brazilians. They are the talk of the Evian Indoor Beach Volleyball Tour. Here's a closer look at Basile and Loyola.
I met playing indoors in 88 or 89 in Flamengo in Rio. We moved to Rio. So we met each other indoors. But we played together in 90, 91, in the first tournament we played together.
We did very well, we make some points in the United States, and decided to live in California.
The American dream, in search of the big bucks and the fame and fortune that goes along with beach volleyball. Basile and Loyola play off each other well.
We're good friends, we respect, and now we learn that game together, so it's me. We can speak the same language, sometimes we yell at each other, but that sometimes make you fired up and good.
What a combination. Jose Loyola is one of the top leapers in the sport. Eduardo Basile is steady game in and game out.
Brazilians are great guys. They, they played good today. I think Loyola is a monster jumper, but you can't count on Ingenio. You look at Ingenio and go, hey, we can get him. If the guy jumps 40 inches, you don't even know it. And plus, he's got great shots. They're going to be a factor this year for sure on the tour, and I'm glad for them.
The Brazilians are quickly becoming fan favorites. They attract quite a following.
It's a Brazilian way. Got an American way. Brazilians are loud, are happy people, and all the problems we have in our country, we're still partying a lot. We learned the game past 2 years, and we only thing we need to do is to play volleyball, so we gotta do well our job.
When you think of Madison Square Garden, you think of one of the world's greatest arenas. When you think of Boston Garden, you think of tremendous tradition as well. Think about all those Celtics teams with Russell and Havlicek and Cousy, all the banners and all the championships. And of course, Bobby Orr played with the great Bruins teams there as well. But do you think about beach volleyball? Not until recently. They moved the beach indoors, and the great players followed. For the first time ever at Boston Garden, there was pro beach volleyball indoor. Now, Karch Karai and Ken Steffes had lost the week before, so much of the attention was focused on that formidable duo. Could they rebound? Or would the Brazilians continue their great play? We found out quickly. It's the venerable Boston Garden on Causeway Street, site for Week 2 action of the Evian indoor season. And after the quarterfinals, only one upset to report. The number 2 seeds, Mike Whitmarsh and Mike Dodd, were upset by Rob Heiger and Eric Wirtz. They'll meet Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos in the semis. But first, it's the rematch of last week's semi as Karch Karai and Kent Steffes look for revenge against the Brazilian team of Basile and Loyola. Karch has only the highest praise for his opponents from Brazil.
They're really exciting to watch. Loyola is maybe probably the highest jumper that has ever played on our beach tour, even from the 50s when it was an amateur tour. Angenio's got great ball control, and they're a spectacular team to watch.
It is with good reason that Karch Karai is a little worried about this Brazilian team. They pulled the big upset last week. Boston Garden. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore. I always wondered what those yellow seats would look like with sand in front of them. Now I know.
Sand in the Garden, huh?
This will be the last year of the Garden. They move right behind the building, as a matter of fact, to the new Shawmut Center. I wonder if this tour will be there next year. I hope so.
Well, I don't know, but I'll miss the Garden, you know, as creaky an old building as it is.
We're looking at Karch Karai, Kent Steffes, the Brazilians on the left side of the net. What a play that time by Jose Loyola with his chest.
Well, here's two teams that can definitely play defense. The Brazilians, great digging, scrambling team. Karai Steffes, as good as there is in defense. Great play by Steffes. Karch Karai using his hands. Perfect set. Goes down the line. The chest dig just can't get up off the net. That chester.
What a great recovery by Karai that time to get back to the net. Now he serves it. It's 3-3. That time Basile able to make a side out with a nice little play.
Little off-speed set off the hands of Brazilian fans, always up in the stands with the flags.
It's interesting, the off-speed play of the Brazilians. They like to go to it at different times.
Well, they're not a big team by today's standards. 6'2", 6'1", 6'4". That's not big by today's standards. Karch Karai, he's only 6'4", but jumps 43 inches. He gets up high and hits hard. The best player, I think, that's ever played the game.
The undisputed #1 team in the world, however, upset in Washington, and now they try to do it again in Boston.
Well, and they do it with tough serving, great defense, and just great all-around play. Karai Steffes, the best all-around two players on the beach, and they win a lot of tournaments because of it.
The spike by Basile, another side out. We are stuck at 3-3 here. Both teams playing great defense.
Basile, Loyola look like they make good linebackers. Wide bodies, big muscle. They lift, they work real hard.
It's interesting. Last week he said we want to win every tournament. Well, somebody would like to win a tournament other than Karai and Steffes, and this team is capable of it.
Well, they certainly are, as they showed last week in the first indoor tournament in Washington, D.C. Played very well. Early tournament, you know, these teams early in the year for these teams, they're used to this summertime. Here we are in the winter, but they're getting more and more used to it as the money gets better.
Well, it's summertime inside the building, 80, 82 degrees. You can't complain about that.
No wind. In fact, heck, the prize money does heat the gym up a bit.
It does. Jose Loyola, as you look at him with a yellow headband, the white T-shirt to serve. We're at 3-3.
Excitable players, they yell and scream at each other. That's when they're playing well. Watch their emotions.
He served it into the net that time, and it'll be Steffes to serve.
Teams feeling each other out right now. Karch Karai, see if he can get a block, and great play. Look at the reaction time.
Oh, another great reaction by Kent Steffes. They arrived at the net, the top of the net at the same time.
Well, Karai likes it. He gives himself a hand. It's so hard to make this play. You go up and block. You have to land, find the ball, move, put it set up on the net just right on top so Steffes can put it away.
You think about the incredible athletic ability of Karai on that particular play, and you really can appreciate what these people do in 8 inches of sand, even if it is indoors.
Well, and Loyola that time showing his athletic ability, hitting a cross court, pounding the ball right by the block of Karai.
4-3, Steffes and Karai with the lead. Basile to serve.
But still, they list him at 6'2". I think he's about 6'1", maybe, but he jumps high and he's very strong. Tip play by Steffes, wide, out of bounds. Go to the off-speed. Leonard up there on the referee. He calls it out of bounds.
So we're tied at 4. Basile with the serve. This time he tried to dig it, could not do it.
Goes down with a semi-pancake dig. No batter out there. He missed it all the way. Couldn't get the spatula underneath it.
I'll tell you what, Basile looks like he could play defensive back in the NFL, doesn't he?
Well, he does. He's a wide body.
People think of volleyball players, they think of 6'3", 6'4", but he is a player, and he is about 6 foot, around the 185 mark.
Ace serve for Karch Karai. Gives himself a little, that's the way to do it. You know, you think about 6'3", 6'4" for volleyball players. That's when I played. You think 6'7", 6'8" now. All the time.
Much, much different game.
Indoors, a lot of 7-footers starting to show up.
Amazing. You look around the NBA, I'm sure you see some players that you would like to see playing on this tour, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in the week.
When we get to the Garden.
I'm going to pick a few NBA all-beach players.
We may find some of the New York Knicks, if they're off that day, to come over and visit with us.
Well, Pat Riley certainly used to spend a lot of time at the beach when he was with the Lakers. You should see him all the time down there watching the tournaments.
Loyola serves that one long. His team trailing 5-4. Ken Steffes now to serve. So Steffes serves and Basile mishits. That is a point for Karai and Steffes, and as they change over, they have a 6-4 lead. It's an Evian timeout. Karch Karai and Ken Steffes cooling down on the sidelines before heading back to battle. Evian Natural Spring Water. Another day, another chance to feel healthy.
Another chance to feel healthy.
So?
I have to get up early tomorrow.
Oh, me too.
Well, good night, Lisa.
Good night.
Miller Lite Ice. For the taste that goes all out when you're out.
I would have been here earlier, but I had to drop off. Lisa?
Miller Lite Ice. The night is young.
This is Cavallini beating ahead. Darian Hatcher walks in, shoots, scores! A short-handed goal. We're all tied up.
The Dallas Stars, illuminating the NHL. Stellar performances, shooting for the cup. The Canucks and the Stars, Friday at 7:30, live on HSE.
Dallas Stars Hockey is brought to you in part by Diet Dr. Pepper, the taste you've been looking for, and by Dr. Pepper, just what the doctor ordered.
What if I had size 14? I'd lace them up Saturday so I could be ready to play by Sunday. And when I walked onto the court, people would stare at me like they just saw Sasquatch. I'd take the ball from them at the top of the key, take 2 tiny steps, and calmly slam it home.
Hakeem the Dream, League MVP. Man, it's got to be the shoes.
Yeah, if I had size 14s, I'd crush more than just bugs.
Warriors, Rockets, Saturday at 7:30, live on HSE.
The Evian Indoor AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Championships are being brought to you by Evian Natural Spring Water. Evian Natural Spring Water, another day, another chance to feel healthy. And by Perry Ellis Menswear. And Miller Lite Ice. The night is young. Welcome back. We hope you're enjoying our look back at the Evian Indoor Pro Beach Volleyball season thus far. Beach volleyball was really invented back in the 1930s. Men who served in the armed forces brought the American invented sport out to the beach. Since then, maybe the greatest player ever to play the game is Karch Karai. He's also the leading money winner of all time. Karch Karai, a winner of 17 AVP titles last year, still has the fire.
I love to compete. It's fun to make great plays in front of big crowds and have everybody respond and get into a very exciting volleyball game. It's nice when you win a close game, it goes down to the last second, everything's on the line. Those are the kinds of matches that we love to play.
Even at a young age, Karch admired the best players in the world.
Even if they weren't making any money, certainly all of us youngsters aspired to try to play like them or be like them. Maybe not be like them. Some of them were pretty wild and crazy, but to play as well or close to as well as they did. Guys like Ron Von Hagen and Ron Lang and Jim Menges. There were a lot of great players that I watched growing up and learned a lot from.
In 95, it's Karai and Steffes.
Spike down the line by Ken Steffes.
I think the key to Karch and I becoming the best team is, first of all, Karch. He's probably the best player in the world. You know, he's head and shoulders above everybody else. He's such a great competitor. And he's just lifted my game up, too, and I've become a better player playing with him. I think together we just make a team which is really difficult to beat week in and week out.
We spend a lot of time training in the off-season. That's where I look to make a lot of gains in strength and in conditioning and flexibility. And so I only take a week or two off at the end of each off-season and start training again. Maybe that's where we can get our advantage, because other players take more time off in the off-season and maybe only leave themselves a few weeks before the start of the season to prepare. And I'm trying to prepare as soon as we're done with the last season.
First ever event played inside Boston Garden of this nature. Karai and Steffes able to extend their lead in the middle of the game and doing it defensively as well as offensively.
Well, they do all those things extremely well, and certainly that's the case here. Karch Karai dragging the ball. Good set by Steffes, puts it away off the tape. Karai serving again, and he's serving very tough, and that's a key for this team. When he's serving well, they dig and they play great defense.
One of the better rallies right here that you'll see in the indoor game.
Well, Basil tries the off-speed shot. Steffes gets it, hits it over again. Great defense by both teams. A lot of excitement. You can hear the crowd. They really love this kind of action. I do, too.
Excellent anticipation by Steffes and Karai as they are able to expand their lead. And now late, it is 14-6. Karai serving to Basil. Will just finesse the ball beautifully here to stay alive.
Well, great play past the block of Steffes. Goes down the line off speed. You have to mix it up, and that's what he did that time. Basil, very adept at moving the ball around.
Now Jose Loyola serving to stay alive and add a point to his team's score. Steffes returning the favor.
Ken Steffes off speed down the line. These players, you have to have all the shots, Mike. You can't just have one. When the block gets on, you have to go over the block, by the block. These players work on all those shots.
That's the interesting part of this game. When you have 12 people out there, you can really specialize, but you can't do that here.
Well, you can. You really have to move the ball around, do all the skills well. That's what they do. Great defense again by Steffes. Great set by Karai, played by the Brazilians. What a turnaround, 360, whips it around. Jose Loyola goes up, his back to the net, turns around. Watch this play. What an athletic play. Goes up, goes over. Here it is. Now watch, he comes off the net. He only sees it, turns around in the air, 360, boom, straight down.
The 1993 AVP Rookie of the Year, the first international recipient of that award, and playing some spectacular volleyball right there. But again, Ken Steffes, he likes that little spot, doesn't he?
Well, right now what the Brazilians are doing is blocking his cross court and digging his cross court, leaving the line open. He's taking it.
Karai to serve again. It's 14-6. Looking for game point. They're exchanging the same shot.
What we're going to say, not a lot of heat out there right now. A little more cooling off period, we might call it. Off-speed shots and working well for both teams.
You get in that little rhythm, and it's guesswork. You're really trying to anticipate what the opposition's going to throw at you. This Loyola serving.
Well, not a lot of sun out there right now, so they're not conserving energy, certainly, indoors.
Well, that is one element they don't have to worry about, do they? The sun or the wind when you play indoors.
No, it's certainly the case, although sometimes air conditioning puts a draft through. It's a lot like a wind outside.
And I think the composition of the sand's a little bit different under the feet of these players, and I know that must affect a little bit about the way they play the game.
Well, you certainly jump better. It's harder than a natural sand surface, not as deep. It really should help a team like Dodd and Whitworth, who have trouble with conditioning. Mike Whitmarsh, he has trouble that way, so it doesn't affect these teams much at all. Great play by Karch Karai, Kent Steffes. That ends the match, as it should. Karai, Steffes, the kings of the beach, without a doubt, doing what they do best.
Yes, and that is winning. They move on now to the finals.
Well, we played our game. We played mistake-free volleyball. That's our trademark, is our consistency.
Revenge can be sweet, and for Karai and Steffes, it means a trip to the final to face the winner of our next match. When we come back, it's Randy Stolkos and Adam Johnson against Rob Heiger and Eric Wirtz. Stay with us. Crispino, Kirk Kilgore, the second semifinal in Boston. A couple of relative unknowns, Rob Heiger, the 25-year-old, and the veteran Eric Wirtz on the left side of the screen against Randy Stoklos and Adam Johnson. They were supposed to be Dream Team number 2.
Well, and they are really starting to come on. They're playing better together, starting to know each other, playing good defense, and Stoklos really needs to be a force at the net blocking. That's what they're doing in this match, really controlling it so far. Heiger, Wirtz, they're playing well. I'm not so sure they're up to the task here against a really strong team.
We're headed to their second final in 2 weeks.
We're playing as a team, and we're enjoying ourselves out here, and we're having a good time. We're serving awfully well. I mean, I'd say he's serving like Pete Sampras out here. And the hat trick, it happened here at the Garden.
Familiar foes are set to tangle in the finals in Boston. These two teams faced off against each other last year in the finals at Madison Square Garden. And speaking of the Garden, we asked some of the players to give us their thoughts on the world's most famous arena.
People dig Madison Square Garden is the hub of the indoor events. You know, you got to get, if you don't win a game or have the most points, you're not going to get there. It's a heavy talk. People want to go there and do the best they can and start out on the right foot.
We play the game because we love it, but we love to play in front of people. And Madison Square Garden in the last couple of years has really heightened the game and made it into such a game that it doesn't have to be played outdoors.
The fans are unbelievable. They heckle you as hard as they can, but you know it's clean heckling. You know, they might say you're so slow, my grandma could have got that, or something like that, and you know they come back and say, hey, great game and stuff like that. And that's what I like about Madison Square Garden and New York in general.
For me, it's totally different. I was from Brazil and have opportunity to play on the other huge basketball players there. I feel good.
It's time for the TDI Sand Report. Welcome back. We're down to the finals in Boston, but first, some beach information. Just how much sand is 240 tons? Well, approximately 12 truckloads. It will take 6 hours to fill the court, and when they're done, the court will be 8 inches deep in sand. Now, the sand isn't transported from city to city, from Boston to Washington to Minneapolis to New York. It is mined in the local area. They'll start preparing the court the night before. Following a Ranger game on Friday night, they'll have it ready for the finals on Saturday. Now let's go back and take a look at the highlights from Boston. He's the king of the beach. Mike Crispino and Kirk Kilgore. You were the king of the beach, weren't you?
No, I'm queen, maybe. No, wait a minute. Hold on.
We've got the top 2 seeded teams in Boston for the championship. Look at Adam Johnson, the king of the beach, the big serve, and he's using it well in the indoor season so far.
Well, he really is a big server, great defensive player. Adam Johnson does it all, as he proved in the king of the beach last year, upsetting Karch Karai.
That's a great tournament. Love to see that played a few other times around the world. You see Steffes and Karai to the right side of the net. Another side out. It's 5-3, Steffes and Karai leading.
A great pass. Perfect set by Karch Karai. Watch the angle. Steffes goes up. Big time angle. That ball's not 6 feet off the net. Great shot.
Not much room to find an opening, but he found it.
A lot of booming going on out here. You got the big arms of the tour. Randy Stoklos, another guy that looks like a linebacker, could tackle anybody out there. He's a big horse.
Now to serve, it will be his partner, Adam Johnson. They are trailing 5-3, originally from Portland, Oregon. The former MVP. And they caught a line.
See that line jump? He's an elastic line around the outside. Ball jumps off the sand. Great shot that time by Steffes as he took heat off of it, went to the off-speed shot over the block.
Now to serve, it is Kent Steffes, UCLA grad. Team UCLA, as a matter of fact, vying for the championship here. And great anticipation by Karai.
Great play by Karai. Team UCLA with one USC exception. Adam Johnson played at USC. How did he get out there?
I don't know. How did they let him get away? That's what I'm wondering.
My alma mater, it would never happen again. The UCLA guys, we tried to stick together.
And great shot that time, the cut shot by Steffes, and they lead it, Karai and Steffes do 7-3. Randy Stoklos was once the #1 player in the world, a position he wants to return to. As we found out, it's something that tears at him.
Well, not only is it important for Adam and I to regain the #1 spot, when you've played the game as long as I have and been #1 as long as I have, there's nothing else that you want. And I wouldn't be out here if I was just thinking about 5th places. What it is to come out here and win, to be the best as you can be, and to bring your partner up and make him play to his best to his ability.
Signature hat for Karsh Karai, the old pink hat.
Steffes now will serve. Tied at 14 still. Nice dig.
Well, big hit for Randy Stoklos. Tough ball to pass. He gets it up in the air. Good set by Adam Johnson. Stokey just pounds it down the middle.
Stoklos to serve. Game tied. He could serve it out and win this thing. A championship would be sweet for Stoklos and Adam Johnson, who had a kind of a year last year where a lot of people thought should have been much better.
Well, it certainly should have been. And they could do a great dig by Randy Stoklos. Gets it up. Powerful hit cross court.
Now he's within 1 point of a championship in Boston.
Here it is again. Randy Stoklos sees it, gets it in the sand to dig that up. Coal miner's card on that one. Gets up, hits a cross court for the boomer card.
Coal miner's card. Could I get one of those, I wonder? I'd have to get way down there, way down there. Stoklos to serve, and Steffes.
Well, they gave him the cross court, and he took it. Goes up holding his shoulder. Don't know why exactly. I think he's all right. Karsh Karai to serve.
Karai goes after Stoklos. Adam Johnson sets him up. And a nice spike from Stoklos.
Randy Stoklos, been around a long time. Was just the king of the beach. He and St. John Smith ruled the tournament for a number of years. Now with Adam Johnson trying to do the same thing.
Johnson now, match point.
Big serve.
Good dig by Johnson. Set up. Oh, he tapped it home. What a smart move from Adam Johnson.
That's a huge win for Stoklos and Johnson. Getting the monkey off their back, beating Karai Steffes.
This is just super. We just did this for years and years and years during the summer, but we're going to go winner, winner, winner. Here we go. Thanks.
Outside the bank of ticket windows at Madison Square Garden, this is where you would go to purchase your tickets for the final on Saturday here at Madison Square Garden. Now, the Pro Beach indoor volleyball season made a final stop at the Target Center in Minneapolis last weekend, and the big question was, could Kent Steffes and Karsh Karai finally return to the winner's circle? The Target Center is the home to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and in 1993 played host to the NCAA College Basketball Championship. A look at the Minneapolis draw shows us No Basile and Loyola. The Brazilians exited early after a first-round loss to Brent Frohoff and Dan Verbalovic. In our first semi, that duo faces Karai and Steffes. Let's take a look. To this year's semifinal in Minneapolis, we're at the Target Center. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore, and serving Dan Verbalovic. He and Brent Frohoff are leading this game 8-4 over Kent Steffes and Karsh Karai.
Karai and Steffes have been struggling so far early. It's early in the season, but have not won a tournament yet, which in itself is a big upset with 2 tournaments already passed.
Steffes serving. Verbalovic spike goes into the net, and it's now 8-5.
Something you cannot do against Karai and Steffes. Make hitting errors, make any kind of error, because they will make you pay for it time and time again.
Frohoff with a set. Verbalovic. Nice angle spike.
Frohoff, Verbalovic, not a big team. They have to move the ball around. Here you see it. Blocks up. Verbalovic sees it. He goes sharp cross court. Almost dug, but not quite. Good play by the team of Verbalovic and Frohoff.
Brent Frohoff, 6'3", out of Manhattan Beach. 31 years old. He's earned over $700,000 in his pro career. 9th on the money list last year. Now Karai will serve. Karai got caught again.
Same cross-court spike. Working well for Dan Verbalovic.
Another side out, and Verbalovic will serve again at 8-5, hoping to extend the lead for his team. Oh, Karsh Karai. Little tip shot, and it's good for a side out.
Good play that time by Steffes. He's the one that called that out. You could hear him yell, cross court. He went with a tip over the top. Karsh Karai, so smart. What a great player.
Ken Steffes now to serve. And it's good for an ace. Kind of took something off that, it looked like.
Well, see if that gets them going. They need something to go. The serve usually does it. Good serve by Steffes, cross court.
They were down by 8-4. Now they're within 2. Chasing, and Vrabalovic able to retrieve it. But Steffes finds the inside of the line again, and they've cut the lead to 1.
Here it is, great dig. It goes up. Big cross-court angle. Nice dig in the back row. Vrabalovic runs it down. Easy play. Frohoff puts it up. Easy dig right there for Steffes. He goes up with it. Good set by Karai. The big angle. Vrabalovic is there. He just can't play it.
The teams change sides, and it'll be 7 serving 8. Kent Steffes.
Change sides. I guess the wind is too much on the other side of the sun. Sun was in their face. Don't think so.
Steffes let it go, and it will be a side out. Frohoff to serve now, and he hit the net. A foot fault, actually.
Yeah, foot fault called that time. Your foot cannot go over that line when you're serving.
Karch Karai serving, his team down 8-7. And that one blasted right through his hands by Brent Frohoff.
Not the muscle team out there, Frohoff and Vrabalovic. Not a lot of muscle, but good arm speed. Both guys hit the ball very hard.
Less than 4 minutes left on that clock. Could be a factor late in this game.
Spike cross court by Ken Steffes.
Another side out. Here is Steffes serving, down 8-7. Vrabalovic a little long that time.
One, you can feel it. Karai, Steffes starting to stabilize out. You can see the frustration. Teams, all of a sudden, Karai and Steffes are right back in the game, and you're saying, oh my goodness, there it is, ace by Steffes.
Steffes drops one in just behind the baseline, and they have their first lead at 9-8.
When you want my opinion, this game is probably just about over. They give up another easy point. They will not beat Karai and Steffes.
Certainly no room to give up easy points when you play the best team in the world. But that time, Brent Frohoff picked the right spot.
Well, but even after he hit it, his body language was not good. He sort of hung his head a little bit. You just can't do that. You have to get on top, serve tough, not give him. That's a good play by Vrabalovic.
Vrabalovic able to block it beautifully.
You know, when you're an underdog team, as certainly Vrabalovic and Frohoff are, you can't make mistakes. You have to stay on top of the team when you have them down. Serve tough and block. That's a bonus.
Frohoff has won 14 times in his 11 years on tour. That time Steffes found an opening.
Well, certainly Vrabalovic, Frohoff, not a great blocking team. They have to side out well. Karai and Steffes will just keep hitting, so they have to side out with them.
Karai diving, a nice dig. Gets the return and gets a little help from the net.
So a great dig by Karai. He gets the runway, gets on the runway, gets the airplane wheels out, digs it up with a pancake, puts it away. Gets on the runway, puts it away.
A lot easier when you land on sand, isn't it?
Well, a lot softer than tarmac, that's for sure.
Vrabalovic with the spike, and unable to handle it is Karsh Karai, Ken Steffes, I should say. Vrabalovic, his team now trailing 10-9 after holding a lead.
Ball never cleared the net. That's a big point.
And Vrabalovic and Frohoff have tied it up at 10 as they change sides. Karai and Steffes had an exciting win last year at Madison Square Garden. Let's take a look. In a match that rocked the Garden, Karai and Steffes defeated Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos in an entertaining affair. Trailing by 14-9, Johnson and Stoklos dug in. But in the end, Karai and Steffes won the Evian Indoor Championship for the second consecutive year. 15-12 was the final. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore, it has been a long uphill battle for Kent Steffes and Karch Kiraly. They've trailed throughout most of this game.
Well, they have been behind, and they're playing very steady now, and it's usually the time of the match they start turning it around.
Steffes serving and his team trailing by 1, but the off-speed spike by Frohoff is a side out for Frohoff and Vrabalovich. Dan Vrabalovich, a guy that not a lot of people know about on tour, but looks like has the potential to be a good player.
Well, he's a great indoor player, played at UCLA, was a setter, good ball control skills, has a good quick arm swing. His brother was also a player at the college level, played for me at Pepperdine.
I knew you had a background as a coach. I just knew it.
Yeah, those 8 years at Pepperdine, what can I tell you?
And what did you learn from him? No, never mind. We don't have enough
time. To stay out of coaching. That's why I'm broadcasting.
Kiraly over Vrabalovich.
Karch Kiraly. There's not a shot he doesn't have. The little knuckler over the top of the block and down.
And I do believe he used a knuckle on that.
That's why I called it a knuckle.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason. Keeping it alive, Vrabalovich and Frohoff. Wait a minute, a little cross-up of communications. Frohoff thought that Dan Vrabalovich was still there waiting for him.
Tried for the paintbrush, and he forgot to dip it. Ball came down on his side.
Kiraly serving. And Frohoff cannot handle that.
Nice cross curve. Watch the ball just dive at the end of this. Little curveball. Knuckler maybe closed down. The curveball drops out.
Kiraly and company now opening up a bit of a lead at 13-11.
Kiraly tried the exact same serve. He just hit the top of the tape that time.
So Vrabalovich will serve. His team trailing by 2, 13-11.
Steffes, you cannot leave him. Good pass, good set, no block up. That's just hello, mama. Bring me home. Nobody up there. I get to pound one.
That is not a nice feeling when you're backpedaling.
Oh, your eyes get real big as a hitter, and your defender, you start going, oh, where's my helmet? Nice play.
Returning the favor, Vrabalovich to side out.
I don't know if I've seen 2 plays in a row with no block in about 3 years.
This is Brent Frohoff now, looking down the line and cannot find it.
Still looking as the ball is wide, side out. You just can't make a lot of mistakes against Kiraly Steffes.
And Vrabalovich and Frohoff have made a few too many in this game. Steffes finishes it off with a block, 14-11. Kiraly and Steffes end up finishing off their opponents and go on to win it 15-12, advancing to the finals at Minneapolis. Kiraly and Steffes are in the final. Will they finally break their slump and win it all? At the Target Center, it's Randy Stoklos serving, and his team leading 13-9. He's 34 years old, Kirk Kilgore. When does a guy like he start slowing down?
Well, it's hard to tell. I think Randy's always kept himself in great shape. You start noticing little sores about 33 or 4. Your injury, you don't come back quite as fast, but Randy's so strong. I think he's got at least 4 or 5 good years left.
Whitmarsh's spike setting up the Dodd serve. Stoklos and company leading right now, 13-10.
Well, and really, it's been Mike Whitmarsh blocking at the net that's kept them in the game.
Dodd serving. Stoklos setting up. Johnson, and he finds a spot along the baseline, but it is not inside the line.
Well, good sign. You block a guy, you serve him right away again. Hits the ball out. Watch, they're going to serve him again, without a doubt.
13-11 they trail. Here is Stoklos setting up again. This time he makes no mistake.
Well, you can't ease up as a hitter. You get blocked. Usually you get mad. You get up and pound it again. This time goes outside. Dodd right there. Usually digs that ball. Too bad. They could have used that dig.
Now the serve from Adam Johnson.
AJ, big server. Spins it a lot. Moves it around.
But that time, it is Whitmarsh able to find a spot and bang it home.
13 our score.
Whitmarsh will serve. His team trailing by 2, 13-11. Adam Johnson, and no, it is outside the line. 13-12. Whitmarsh and Dodd have moved within 1 as the players take a break. Here's Mike Whitmarsh about his basketball experiences.
Basketball was my main sport. I remember playing all the way back till I was 6 or 7 years old, and it's something I played all the way up and through college, and then even 3 years over in Europe and briefly professionally. And volleyball was just kind of a hobby that I picked up. I'd be over in Germany for 8 months out of the year, and I'd come back to San Diego in the summer, and I'd want to go to the beach. And And my best friend Randy Turner was playing volleyball, and he just asked me to play one day, and I just loved it, and it's still a fun and fresh game to me even today.
The target center in Minneapolis, Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore, and 6'7" Mike Whitmarsh out of San Diego to serve. His team trailing by 1 point, 13-12. Oh, what a pretty move at the net.
Great play that time by Dodd to get the ball up. Here it is. Good set. Stokos hits it. Dodd does what he does best, digs. And the backhanded slap down by Whitmarsh. Big play by Dodd Whitmarsh.
Kind of a basketball-like move. One of those reverse layup type moves by Whitmarsh as he serves. Game tied at 13 apiece. Wow.
Oh, what a great play by Mike Dodd. First the blocking by Whitmarsh, then the digging by Dodd. It's just a great play all the way around. Scores the point the easy way.
And look at the reaction. What would you call that look?
That Perry Ellis look at the game, I think.
Mike Whitmarsh to serve, and time could be a factor, Kirk, as we are running down on this clock.
Big hit by Randy Stokos. Been going cross court, takes the line this time.
Stokos will be serving now. His team trailing 14-13.
Tough serve.
Whitmarsh gets back into it, though, and it is off the Johnson block and out of play, side out.
Found hands, tooled it off the block. Mike Dodd to serve. Lollipop serve. Not a good serving team, Whitmarsh and Dodd.
Dodd with a chance now to win the game and go to the final. But off the block of Whitmarsh, it's in, and Stokos has earned another side out. This is Adam Johnson to serve. His team down by 1.
AJ tough serve. Oh, that's a bad one. Goes long. AJ usually good for a hard in serve. It would have been important there.
Whitmarsh to serve. His chance to win it. 5.7 seconds left on the clock. Stokos spikes it for a side out.
Well, it's important here for Stokos to go back. He has to serve in, and he has to serve tough. They have to try and score here. If they don't score here, this match will probably be over. In fact, it is over if they don't score here.
Randy Stokos to try to keep it alive.
Good
nice
serve.
dig.
Oh, they could have it.
And just before the buzzer goes off.
Why'd they stop playing? You can still play it out. What a mistake by Johnson and Stokos. They could have played it out and scored the point, but they stopped.
It disrupted, it looked like it disrupted Adam Johnson when the buzzer went off and he stopped playing. So Dodd and Whitmarsh with a bit of a break and a 14-13 win. They are headed to the finals in Minneapolis. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore, the finals at Minneapolis. These two teams between them won 20 tournaments last year. Karch Karai, Ken Steffes against Mike Whitmarsh and Mike Dodd.
Karai and Steffes, 9 serving 11.
Mike Dodd serving in a softie, close to the net. Squeezes over, and Whitmarsh cannot put it away. Karai got away with one, it looks like.
Well, fantastic rally. Great dig by Karai. He has the best hands in the game. Gets it up, uses the tape. He'll say, I did that on purpose, the old tape shot. Great try by Whit, but he can't get it up. Karai Steffes, great defense.
Sometimes a player's best friend, at least when he's not serving. This is Whitmarsh. Tries a little drop shot, doesn't work. That time, maybe a little miscommunication between Whitmarsh and Dodd. They looked at each other as if, I thought that was your ball.
Well, good defense by both teams. Karai really starting to play some D right now.
Here is Steffes, a 12-9 lead for he and Karai, and that is a side out. Just 1 minute, 1 second left on the clock after that point.
Time does become a factor. Teams will start trying to serve harder. That's where Dodd Whitmarsh really have a disadvantage. No big jump serve, nothing that can score them quick points, and it hurts them at the end of these games when they're behind.
Karai serving up 12-9. And Steffes guessing perfectly, blocks it for a 13-9 lead.
Steffes had some big blocks in this match. Goes up, reads Dodd perfectly, stuffs it straight down, closes the closet door, the light was out.
What anticipation that time by Kent Steffes. Great save by Karai, but it will not stay inside the court.
See a lot of those one-handed digs in the beach game. The players stick that hand out, get it up. 9 times out of 10, Karai digs that ball up in the air.
This is Mike Dodd who's serving, keeping it alive. And the touch shot off the net and inside.
Well, the experience and the scouting of Dodd that time read Karai all the way, right down the line, waiting for that play. Good dig, good put away.
36 seconds left to play on the clock now, and a 3-point deficit. And a blast.
Great play by Mike Dodd. He pulls it up off the block, goes down with the big hit after the play. Great diving save. He goes up, hits it straight down with a blast.
A great recovery by Mike Dodd, the Evian spike of the game. And now Dodd will serve. His team down by 2 at 13-11. He cannot save that one, however, on a Karai spike.
Dodd's digging Karai right now, reading him perfectly. 2 down the line, that time cross court, just couldn't get it up.
Kent Steffes to serve. And Whitmarsh able to put it away, but time is rapidly running out now. Just 4.2 seconds left in this game.
Whitmarsh needs a tough serve here. They have to score. Not a panic situation. They just have to get up, block a ball, try and dig it.
Karai blocked once by Whitmarsh. Not this time.
To the net in the open court by Karch Karai.
And Karch Karai will serve at 13-11.
High serve. He just puts it up, keep it in play. Dodd with a quick put away, very smart. Instead of setting the ball, he goes up, puts it away. Now, Dodd and Whitmarsh, really disadvantaged, don't have a big serve here. Dodd needs to pull it out from somewhere.
Here is Dodd. They're down by 2, but just 3 seconds left.
Well, they're in a lot of trouble, no doubt about it. He needs a big, tough roundhouse serve.
And he serves it long.
Well, that really should do it. Karai keeps the ball in play, Steffes, so they keep it in play. Should end the match.
And he loops one high in the air. And time does expire. Karai and Steffes have won in Minneapolis.
Well, a great win. Great play for Karai and Steffes. They've been struggling. Looks like they're ready to win with their first win in '95.
For the 5th year, Miller Brewing will acknowledge season-long excellence with a presentation of the Miller Lite Cup. Points are awarded each week to players based on their tournament finishes, with a $250,000 increase in the payout to $1 million. The Miller Lite Cup will push this season's total prize money on the Miller Lite AVP Tour to a record $4.5 million. As you look at the standings, point-wise, you'll find Karch Karai and Kent Steffes on top of the heap with 21 total points. The Evian Indoor AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Championships have been brought to you by Evian Natural Spring Water. Evian Natural Spring Water, another day, another chance to feel healthy. And by Perry Ellis Menswear. And Miller Lite Ice. The night is young. So there you have it, 3 different venues and 3 different winners. Karch Karai and Kent Steffes have won the title here for the last 2 seasons at Madison Square Garden, and despite their early season struggles, many think they are the odds-on favorites to do it again. But as we have just seen in the other 3 events, it really is anybody's tournament. There could be a new king of the indoor beach. Thanks for joining us on this preview of the Evian AVP Indoor Beach Volleyball season. For my partner, Kirk Kilgore, I'm Mike Crispino. We'll see you again this weekend at Madison Square Garden.
They're big. They're dumb.
They are the kings of the beach, and they've proven it for years. They started off last season with a win in the Evian Indoor at Madison Square Garden, and they continued by winning 10 of the first 12 outdoor events. But a kidney injury to Karch opened up the field. Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos, the new dream team, took Manhattan. Tour veterans Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh won one of the best matches of the year, beating Karai and Steffes at Seal Beach. Karch soon rejoined Kent to win the final 4 tournaments. But 1995 is a new year, and there are more challenges to the champions. The boys of Brazil, Anjinho and Loyola, elevated their game last season and started off the winter season by shocking Johnson and Stoklos in Washington for their first ever indoor title. Johnson and Stoklos then came back the next week to beat Karch and Kent in Boston. Karch and Kent gained their first win of the season by beating Dodd and Whitmarsh at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Today, it's the final stop of the winter tour. It's the Evian Indoor at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Without a peer, it's the Evian Pro Beach Volleyball Championships from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino with Kirk Kilgore. All that is missing is the salt water, of course, and the California sun. But 8 teams are here for the biggest, one of the biggest single-day payoffs in Pro Beach Volleyball history, $30,000.
Well, Mike, it's a huge payoff, but it's growing year to year. The last 2 years, the match was only here at Madison Square Garden. Now we play 4 tournaments on the East Coast, leading to the championship, $30,000. That's a lot of bread.
That is, and Karch Karai and Kent Steffes are the 2-time defending champions. You figure if you have to get through to the final, you've got to go through them.
Well, they won 17 tournaments together last year. They are the prohibitive favorite to win this tournament, to win this series, but it didn't work like that. They lost the first 2 tournaments, probably the first time they've lost 2 tournaments in a row in the history.
Now our first semifinal of the day will feature Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos, 2 of the better players in the world. They'll be taking on Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh.
Last year they called them Dream Team 2. Here they are in game point number 2, a game point against Martin and Young. They go up, they steady it out, ball goes down, time runs out, a relatively easy win for Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos. They're the pretty boys on the tour now. They love to play this game.
And their opponents in the semifinal will be Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, who did not have an easy time in their quarterfinal.
Pro Halfman Rabolovich played them very tough. They went to overtime, a 30-second overtime, sudden death, a contested play at the end. Hit by Frohoff off the block. Ref says no. Dodd and Whitworth advance.
Here's a look at Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, 2 of the veterans of the tour. In the other semifinal, it is the young Brazilian team of Anjinho and his teammate Loyola as they go against the defending champions Karch Karai and Kent Steffes.
Well, Anjinho and Loyola, they're big jumpers out of Brazil. Young players, they're extremely strong. Here's their game point. They're playing Hillier and Wirtz. They go up, they have it all the way. Relatively easy win, 15-2. Pretty much a wipeout. They get to the final easily. They are strong. They are young. Watch this team. They're exciting.
23 and 24 years old. Karch Karai and Kent Steffes, we mentioned 2-time defending champions. They've won just about everything. This is their look at the quarterfinals.
Well, they started out well. They're playing a good team, both Jan and Hovland. Tim Hovland, the Hov, always tough, but not tough enough today. Karai, Steffes, the prohibitive favorites. They've won it all. They want to keep winning. They're ready.
How do you view this semifinal now with the defending champions as they try to get to the final?
Well, I really think it's a case of ball control. It always comes down to tough serving, passing, and block a few balls. They must serve and dig well.
Now, Stoklos and Adam Johnson were in the final last year against Karai and Steffes. Do you expect the same final?
I think so. I think Stoklos and Johnson are playing better than they were a year ago. Karai, Steffes, you always have to pick them.
All right, we'll be back with a look at our first semifinal after these words from Madison Square Garden. It's the Evian Indoor Pro Beach Volleyball Championships.
It's the Evian Indoor AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Championship from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Mike Crispino, Kirk Kilgore with you. And look at the rules in today's games. 15 points deciding a game. 3 contacts on each side. You cannot touch the net. And what about this rally clock?
Well, the rally clock's there. The ball, when you touch the ball, starts the clock. Ball hits the sand, it stops the clock. 9 minutes total playing time.
Now to our TDI sand report. The temperature inside the building, a balmy 82, just 33 degrees, 1 degree over freezing outside. 240 tons of sand imported for this.
A little bit of sand from the beaches nearby. Wet, but it is a lot of sand.
And, of course, they have a couple of sand timeouts when they have too much of that on them. Because of time, we pick up this match in progress with Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos leading at 10-5. I know you have some basketball players in the NBA you'd like to see play volleyball. These two, Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, actually did go to the NBA. Whitmarsh, look at him in the white uniform, working against the Lakers as a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And we talked to him about his pro basketball experiences.
That's one of my favorite memories also. We played the Lakers the first game of the preseason in Minnesota, and there was 45,000 people at the game, I remember, and it was just, I walked on the court and I just, whew, this is amazing, standing out here in front of all the people, you know, playing against Magic Johnson and Worthy and all the greats for the Lakers, and that's something I choose to remember.
Now, I know you've seen Magic at work at the Forum. He saw him firsthand.
I would choose to remember that, too, I think. Things not going so well right now for Dodd. Whitmarsh have to think about their basketball days a little bit here, I think.
Mike Whitmarsh of the University of San Diego. That's Mike Dodd, San Diego State University. They're down 10-5 now. They must turn this match around quickly. Adam Johnson chasing way back behind the back line, but cannot chase it down.
I think you can get to the sand timeouts about after this.
There's a couple in each match, and he gets a hand from a somewhat raucous crowd here at Madison Square Garden who are happy to be inside when it's 33 degrees outside.
Well, he almost got to it. He didn't turn around quite soon enough. The ball went by him. Usually the blocker, the ball goes by, you turn. A little bit late, couldn't quite run it down. Ooh, stretching his shoulder, hope it didn't get hurt out there.
That's the kind of play that you could hyperextend the shoulder.
Well, you could, but more than likely just knock the breath out a little bit. You lay out completely, hit the runway a little hard sometimes.
Mike Dodd, voted the AVP's best defensive player in 1994. Stoklos with a set. Adam Johnson, a little touch, and it's good.
The way you look at it, the two players on Johnson and Stoklos, you think the teams would be serving Johnson all the time, the smaller of the two, but that's not the case. Big arm swing, and plus Randy is a great setter. Stoklos has great hands.
They reached the finals last year at Madison Square Garden, only to lose to Karai and Steffes, who are in the other semifinal against the Brazilians, and Gino and Loyola.
Right now, Adam and Randy really having their way. They're going well. They're serving tough. They're digging the ball when it's hit by. Nice dig. Good set by Randy Stoklos up to Adam Johnson. Turns away from his body. Little tap down. Nice play. And a commanding lead. I thought this was going to be a lot closer this summer.
Johnson and Stoklos up 12-5. This is Johnson to serve. And Whitmarsh could not get to it as Mike Dodd. The set was too deep, too close to the net.
Well, bad pass. You can see it just takes off. There's no way Whitmarsh is going to run this down. Not that fleet of foot like Whitmarsh.
And even if he got to it, I don't know what he could have done with it. We have a full timeout from Madison Square Garden. We'll be back with more. Johnson and Stoklos closing in on a final berth. For the 5th year, Miller Brewing will acknowledge season-long excellence with a presentation of the Miller Lite Cup. Points are awarded each week to players based on their tournament finishes, with a $250,000 increase in the payout to $1 million. The Miller Lite Cup will push this season's total prize money on the Miller Lite AVP Tour to a record $4.5 million. As you look at the standings, point-wise, you'll find Karch Karai and Kent Steffes on top of the heap with 21 total points. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, the Evian Indoor Beach Volleyball Tour. The championship from Madison Square Garden. Johnson and Stoklos closing in, leading 13-5 over Mike Whitmarsh and Mike Dodd. This is a surprising result so far, as you mentioned.
Well, and really, Dodd and Whitmarsh match up well against this team. They have done well historically. Not today so far.
And it's getting very late. That time, Adam Johnson. The serve went long, and it's side out. There's a look at Mike Dodd. 14 years on the tour. That was a pretty shot.
Ball right on top of the net. Not much he can do. He just closes his hand, hits it off his knuckles into the corner. That knuckler in the corner.
There are a variety of shots that need to be played at certain points. Maybe he uses that only one time in a match, but it was good enough to earn him the side out there.
A very smart play when the ball's set real close.
Whitmarsh and Dodd, little magic in the net that time.
Had to play it. They're working awfully hard for side outs. Usually you want to do those kind of things for points. They're getting blocked. That's a change Johnson and Stoklos made. I was talking to him before earlier. Said now Adam is blocking, not just playing defense. So they're sharing responsibility. I think it will make them a stronger team.
High, Stoklos again.
Probably help Randy's career too. He's getting along. He's not old by any means, 34. Been around a long time, played a lot of matches, been in a lot of finals. If he doesn't have to block every single play, it's going to extend his career.
Stoklos was the first to win $1 million. Adam Johnson, three-time All-American back in the mid-'80s. That time, Dodd!
Well, that's a game saver, as we call it. Ball's over. Adam Johnson has a good swing. Dodd, presence of mind. He goes up, doesn't try and reach over. He just soft blocks it into the corner. But that's a game saver right there.
It was almost like a blind guess. It looked like he was looking one way and then stuck his arms up the other way and angled it in beautifully.
Good.
Johnson, he found the spot perfectly.
If you're a young player and want to know what to work on, don't always hit the ball straight down. Go to the deep corners. Nobody can play that corner. Great shot that time, as you see, by Adam Johnson right into the deep cross-court corner.
Two-man game, certainly not one for specialists. Got to do it all. And when you reach the level that these teams have, you must do it all. That time, Mike Dodd, nicely.
Dodd does not have a big arm swing. He doesn't hit the ball hard, what I mean by big arm swing. So when he gets blocked, a lot of times he gets played back up, as we saw then.
Coming off one of his most spectacular seasons, he earned more than $200,000 in prize money, won 3 events with Mike Whitmarsh last year. They went to 11 finals. Stoklos keeps it alive. Adam Johnson blocked it, but couldn't get it over the net. And still had something left at the end.
Well, the best rally of the game by far. Both teams making nice plays at the net. There it is, Olofsky. Great diving save by Whitmarsh. Goes up. Johnson has it. He just loses the ball for that split second. Tries the chicken wing. No batter on that one.
Chicken wing. Very apt description from Kirk Kilgore as we look at Mike Dodd again. They earned a point finally. It seemed like it took a long time for them to get to 6.
Well, they're having to work awfully hard for that extra point. As I said, when you see a team struggling for side outs, they have a lot of trouble. And this is not a team that comes from behind real well. They don't serve that tough. The teams that come from behind have big jump serves. You can ace a couple times. Not the case with Dodd and Whitmarsh, so they're in some trouble.
Mike Dodd won 2 U.S. championships, 4 worlds with Tim Hovland.
Oh, the great battle, Smith, Stoklos, Dodd, Hovland.
And that time, Whitmarsh. At the net.
He's up again. That's how they go fast. Whitmarsh with the stuff. We'll be back in the Garden after this.
Currently ranked 5th in the world, Randy Stoklos, a 3-time MVP, 16 years on the tour, 119 wins. What he'd want most right now is to get back to number 1.
When you've played the game as long as I have and been number 1 as long as I have, there's nothing else that you want. And I wouldn't be out here if I was just thinking about 5th places. What it is to come out here and win, to be the best as you can be, and to bring your partner up and make him play to his best of his ability.
John McEnroe was once in the same position when he couldn't get back to number 1 and knew it wouldn't happen. He left the game. Stoklos is hanging.
Agassi's sort of in that situation, a little younger maybe.
And he is reaching for number 1. He may make it very soon. 13-7, Adam Johnson, Randy Stoklos leading. A win here puts them in the finals of the Evian Indoor from Madison Square Garden. Mike Crispino and Kirk Kilgore with you. Johnson and Stoklos won 3 times in 1994. And the big one for Johnson, the king of the beach, winning that one, the first man other than Karts-Karai to do it. Oh, battle at the net. Stoklos wins it.
The joust. Ball up on top, both arms up. Sort of the joust Kong block up, both guys up there with the Kong. Watch this joust with the net. They get up, push, shove, let it go down. Whitmarsh.
Whitmarsh was a little off angle. I don't think he had enough strength from the angle he was at to handle it. Now for the match, Adam Johnson. Not this time.
Adam Johnson froze. He actually saw that all the way. And for some reason or other, he just froze in his tracks. Happens, you get locked in on a player. You watch his arm, and all of a sudden you lock in.
How difficult is it to change directions in sand? It must be.
Well, it's hard to change directions almost anywhere, but in the sand, it's certainly that much harder. The sand is soft. It's hard to move. You dig in, you keep sliding. It just doesn't, you don't stop like with cleats on, that's for sure.
Stoklos, his chance to end the match now with a 14-7 lead. Dodd and Whitmarsh will not go away.
Well, they've got to make a move right now. Minute left. There's still a lot of time. If you're a good serving team, Mike Dodd, not a great server by any means, moves the ball around well, has good control, but not a tough serve. With a minute left, they need a couple quick points. Look for Mike Whitmarsh to go after the block. Must block a ball.
Dodd, a prodigy at age 16, one of the best players on the beach. And that time, another side out.
Mike Dodd was the youngest player at AAA at 16. Was the first 16-year-old to become a AAA player. Still in high school. AAA was the highest rating, I think, even when he got his rating. They hadn't had the pro rating yet.
Adam Johnson tries to end it.
I was 17 when I got mine, so he took it away from me. That dirty rat.
Yeah, records are made to be broken. You know that. Off the net, keeping it alive. Stoklos to Johnson. Perfectly played. Stoklos and Johnson have advanced to the finals.
Relatively easily. I'm surprised. I thought Dodd Whitmarsh would be a lot stronger. A good match for Stoklos and Johnson, playing very steady, playing defense when they had to, stuffing when they have to. They look good.
They fell behind about midway in the match and just could not recover. So Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh will head to the sidelines. Adam Johnson, Randy Stoklos head to the finals. We'll be back.